Hello again, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Sting. I'm Joe Hutzler with you once more on another great episode. We've got some great guests. Stick around, but first we talk about what happened last night in Hornet Nation. We'll look at the recap of the two games that we had here at Lynchburg College. First, the women's soccer team able to take care of Virginia Wesleyan in a tight one, 1-0. Hannah Olds with the game-winning goal in the last 10 minutes. Volleyball had a 2-0 set lead, but falls to Randolph College in 5 sets. 3-2, the Randolph Wildcats will be in the tournament, and so will the Hornets. They will be most likely in the 8th seed. So with that said, sorry about all the bad news, but now we're going to introduce our first guest, which is Miss Kelly Layne of the volleyball team. And let's just dive into the game last night. Obviously, it was an important game for you as a senior, senior night for you. But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about a 2-0 set lead that ends up going away. What transpired in between the second and third set?
Honestly, I think we just got too comfortable. We just kind of let our mistakes get the best of us, and we couldn't come back from the mistakes we did make. So.
What does this do for a team that, you guys have kind of struggled all year, but what does it do to end your last game of the regular season on that kind of note? I mean, how do you guys recover from that?
I think it gives us a lot of motivation to come into practice and work our butts off, because we do have a very tough schedule coming ahead of us this next week, being the possible 8th seed playing the number 1 seed first in the tournament. We've never been like this my 4 years here, so I kind of think of it as a positive note, playing the number 1 seed first. We just have them to focus on that day. And I think that now, with the negativity behind us, we can focus on moving forward and the game on Wednesday.
What about, you mentioned 4 years, you're a senior. Let's talk about senior night last night, the moment of what was going through your mind at that time. Were you upset? Were you happy? Was it, a mix of emotions for you?
A lot of mix of emotions. I didn't cry all day, and then my sister surprised me, and I started bawling my eyes out, and I couldn't breathe. So that was right before the game, so that was pretty nice. But overall, I was just happy. It was a good environment the first 2 games. I think we were just happy to be there and happy to play for the 3 seniors that are on the team. And it was a pretty good night, even though we lost.
We keep bringing that up, and I apologize. Let's stop talking about the game last night. Let's talk about your 4 years here in this program. What's something that maybe you've seen that could change, or that you want the team to keep moving forward? Something that you've seen that needs to stick around for the time after you leave?
Well, I definitely think that our chemistry before this year was a little rocky. We definitely had some drama. A team of 12 to 16 girls, you're always close, you're always together, and people have their differences. But this year, it was definitely a different atmosphere, and I do truly believe that it was the freshmen that were brought in. They were just nice, happy to be there. They worked so hard. No one had a negative attitude if they weren't playing or if something wasn't going right. And they just picked us up as upperclassmen when we needed it. So
it was very good news.
It was really good
for the future, for sure. Now, obviously, you do more than just play volleyball here at Lynchburg College. You're very involved in campus life, and more importantly, you're involved in a sorority. So tell me, firstly, what sorority you're a part of, and what do you do, you personally, and what does the sorority do in the community?
Well, I'm part of Kappa Delta Zeta Nu, and we do a lot for the community. One of our philanthropies is Girl Scouts, so we'll have them come on campus and just instill confidence in them, do crafts with them. We go to their sweetheart dance for Valentine's Day, and so it's the father-daughter dance, and just kind of hang out with them and help them out. They're about to go to the Children's Hospital in Richmond for the teddy bear run, and they each bring a teddy bear and they deliver it to the children themselves. So it's very philanthropic. We do a lot of community service, and we just like giving back to others.
What is the importance, if you're telling someone that's coming into college, the importance of being involved in a sorority? Because some people get the negative connotations from Greek life, but they don't realize, I think, what the group is really about, what you guys do, as you just mentioned right there. So if you were talking to an incoming freshman who was curious, should I be involved, should I not be involved, what would you tell them to kind of recruit them to get involved with the sorority?
I would definitely just say hang out with the sisters, go to events that they have, see what they're about. And being in a sorority is a lot more than just what people see in movies and what they hear about on social media. It's definitely the closest bond to sisters I've ever had. And some people are like, oh, I'm an only child, so these are my sisters that I've always wanted. But to me, it's just a different bond that they're just always there for you. We're always just texting each other like, hey, are you okay? Like, I saw you upset. Or, hey, let's go get lunch. I miss you. Just different things like that. And it's definitely different being at a smaller school. So our whole sorority is smaller than, say, like Virginia Tech or something like that, where they're just a lot bigger. And we have a chance to get to know each individual sister. So that's also something special.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're a part of Kappa Delta here, are you kind of a part of all the other ones as well as the national group of Kappa Delta?
We're all sisters.
Too? Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't sure. So you could even tell them that, hey, it's not just here.
Yeah.
You're a part of a group, a network now.
And it goes on past graduation, too. There's alumni chapters you can be a part of. And you just will always have that bond with these people that you meet here and continue that bond out through your life.
Well, another thing that you're very involved in is the nursing program.
Yes.
That is your major. What is the most intense part about being in the nursing program here?
Definitely just the long hours. I have clinicals, so I'll be up at 5:30 in the morning, and then I have practice until 6:30 at night, and then I have to go study. So it's definitely good to kind of have your time management down. You definitely need that. It's also intense what you see. You're not used to kind of seeing things, you just hear about them. So when you go into clinicals and you have that patient that just touches you, it's just like, wow, like this is why I'm in this profession, like this is why I want to be a nurse. So.
What was the initial drive to be in the profession before you came to school? Was that what you always wanted to be?
It is actually what I always wanted to be, and then my freshman year, I was like, no, I think I want to be the doctor. So I changed my major like 10 times and ended up doing completely different things I wanted to do. And then I ended up sophomore year going back to nursing. So I'll actually be here next year for a 5th year to finish up nursing. So senior night wasn't too bad for me last night because I know I can still come and hang out with them next year. But yeah, I don't know why. Just 8th grade, my guidance counselor came into the class and said, what do you want to do? And I said, pediatric nursing. For some reason, that's where I'm at.
I don't think there's a lot of people at that age that say, yeah, sure, pediatric nursing. That's what I want to do. So good news is we'll have Kelly Layne around next year as well.
Yes.
We just found that out, so that's great. Thank you for coming by. We wish you all the best of luck. We know you have 2 games this coming weekend.
Yes, sir.
And a game next weekend, obviously, to start the ODAC tournament. So good luck.
Thank you.
Games. We'll keep everybody up to date on that, I'm sure. And thanks for coming by. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back in the second segment. We will talk to another senior, the field hockey midfielder, Meredith Bradsher, right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Sting. Before we get to our next guest, Meredith Bradsher, let's go over the trivia question for this week. And this week we ask you, how many of the 15 eligible teams for Lynchburg College haven't won an ODAC title for Lynchburg? We will get to that answer coming up in the third segment. But before then, let's bring in our next guest, Meredith Bradsher. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate your time, and we want to talk about the game tonight against Eastern Mennonite. It is a Play for Cure game, so it'd be interesting to see some of the pink attire, and actually you guys are going to use pink field hockey balls as well, which is really cool. So if you can come after the game, definitely do that, or watch it. We'll have it for you on LHSN. Let's talk about the game itself and what, if anything, between the last game and this one that Coach Steele has talked about in practice, something you guys need to work on or keep doing the same that you did against Shenandoah.
Well, we're having a little bit of trouble with our transfers through the backfield to get it to the other side. So I think that's going to be a definite focus today on strong passes, strong hits through the backfield. So we're not making those mistakes in the back. And also, connecting the mids to the forwards and just being as a unit, more of a unit on the field.
Is there anything that has happened throughout the course of the year, from the beginning to now, that you guys have progressively gotten better at? Something you guys really focused on in the beginning of the season and are happy with the improvements to now?
I think that the communication is a lot better throughout on the field. We're connecting with each other a lot more, and we're comfortable. If a freshman needs to tell me something, or if I need to tell someone else something, it's okay. It's comfortable. It's a good atmosphere. So that's improved.
Overall, on the year, you guys have put up some pretty good numbers, especially goal scoring wise. You've done a terrific job. SimPal has been on fire over the last couple games for sure. But lost in the fold there's about 9 or 10 of you that have scored at least one goal. What does that say about, obviously, the depth, but the work that you guys have put in the off season, and of course as the season has gone along, that you feel good about anybody that's out there because anybody can score?
Yeah, we have a deep bench. All our freshmen are really talented this year, and Nikki has scored a lot of our goals, but we're also we also have a lot of other people who put up points for us too. So I think that's really crucial to know that each person can contribute in one way or another.
Yeah, and what last goal you scored, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody so excited about a goal before. You just went nuts. It was great. Let's move on to some stuff off the field, and let's talk about some of the things that you've experienced, of course, through field hockey. And one of the cool things that you and I talked about was your ability to go to Italy. How long ago was that?
That was about 2-3 years ago. I went between my freshman and sophomore year, so that summer. And I went with Coach Steele and like 5 other of my teammates and other field hockey players from across the country. So that was really cool getting to experience that level.
What was the point or the benefit of doing that, of making that trip?
I've never been out of the country before, and my parents were for it. They want me to, see the world and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to see Italy and their culture, and it's a different style of play over there, and they're very skilled. So did
you guys, whether it's Coach Steele or you as players, bring anything that you learned from playing in that style? Did you bring anything back with you?
They're very technical, so their technical style is something that I try to keep in mind when I'm playing. So.
Did you have real Italian food? Did you get a chance to have real Italian pizza?
I had to have like 10 portions because they're so small.
They are very small.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's very. They make sure that the details are there. They give you a small piece, but it's going to be really delicious.
Right.
It's definitely a great place. Now, you guys were in Rome, correct?
Yeah, we were.
So you were able to see the Colosseum and all those things as well. Because I don't want people to think you just went and played field hockey and then you came home. You guys actually got experience some things,
We experienced a lot of different places, a lot of different food and people. It was cool. It was good time.
Another interesting hobby that you have, I guess, is snowboarding. Why get into snowboarding? Do you live somewhere where there's a good place to go do that?
I don't live near. I'm from Northern Virginia, so I don't have a lot of options. But I learned maybe like 6 years ago, and I just kind of picked it up. It's something that I like to do. So Wintergreen's like 45 minutes away, so I try to get up there when I can in the off season, but only like I don't go too hard because I don't want to get hurt. But yeah. So
do you, or was there, I should say, a moment when you were younger that was like, hey, this really piques my interest? Did you see the Olympics or X Games or something like that?
I saw the X Games in person in Park City. And that was really cool. So
that was the fire, right?
Yeah.
It sparked it up for you.
Yeah, it was cool.
How old were you at that point?
12.
12 years old. Okay. Yeah. To me, for snowboarding, I just think it's amazing that you're able to balance that board and stay along. So how long did it take you to get to a pretty solid point where you're like, okay, I can go up from the bunny slopes. I can do a little bit more than that?
I couldn't do it actually, and one day I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I'm just gonna go on the regular slopes, and if I fall, I fall. I'm just gonna get back up again. So it just took me a couple times, but I picked it up.
That's a great life lesson as well. Do you get to go to the Flex here at Lynchburg?
The Snowflex. Yeah, I've been a couple times before, and it's not. I don't do it during season because it's not really safe. But yeah, I've been. It's fun.
What is the difference? Because that's obviously not real snow or anything. So how is it harder to snowboard on that?
Yeah, because you can't carve, so you don't have a lot of control. It's kind of just like straight down.
There's a word for you to Google, carve. Find out what that means in terms of snowboarding. Anyway, real quick before we sign off here, let's talk about your 4 years as a field hockey player. You guys have senior day, of course, coming up, but on Saturday. But you've been in this program for 4 years now. I'm sure you've grown a lot as a person. Has there been anything specific that you look back on individually as something that you've grown with as the program has grown?
I look back on, how I've had to become a leader and step up. I tend to be sort of more of a quiet person. It's hard for me to talk, to voice my opinion. I like to lead by example, but I think this year I've really stepped up, and I'm proud of myself for that. So, I just hope that we keep the streak going, and I can play as long as I can. So I don't really miss it.
Well, yeah, and you said before, you'd hope to coach maybe someday as well. So obviously staying involved is going to be the key to that.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck tonight, and of course on Saturday as well.
Thank you.
For senior day, and thanks for coming by and sharing some of the things about your story.
Thanks for having me.
Real quick, I should ask, were you on the winning bake-off team last night at Coach Steele's house?
Well, I didn't bake because I'm a senior. They baked for me.
Oh, okay. Now that's the stipulations. Yeah. Okay. So was there good stuff for you to eat?
Yes, it was very good. Good job, underclassmen.
Okay. That's the main thing. Well, thanks again, Meredith, for your time. When we come
Thank you.
back, we will hear from another senior, Jade Woll of the women's soccer team. We'll also have the answer to the trivia question here on the Weekly Sting. Welcome back to the Weekly Sting, everybody, here on LHSN outside of Drysdale Student Center at Lynchburg College. I'm Joe Hutzler, and now it's time to get to the Hornet Trivia answer. We asked you in the last segment how many teams of the 15 eligible haven't won an ODAC title for Lynchburg. The answer is 5. We have volleyball, tennis, equestrian, golf, and women's basketball who are still looking for that first and elusive ODAC title. Let's talk about the upcoming games for the rest of the week here. It's the last week for the regular season. We mentioned in the last segment, of course, field hockey is tonight taking on EMU. That game can be seen on LHSN. Then the women's soccer team will be on the road tomorrow at Emory and Henry. They will have the broadcast for you at 6 p.m. Saturday, cross country has their ODAC championships at Bridgewater College starting at 11 a.m. Then also on Saturday, volleyball will be playing Eastern University at Messiah College at 12:30. In between both of volleyball games, we'll have field hockey on LHSN at 1 o'clock against Randolph-Macon for Senior Day. And as I mentioned, the volleyball game against Messiah will be after their game against Eastern, obviously. And then the last game of the regular season, men's soccer, Saturday at 6 p.m. at Emory and Henry, and they will have the webcast for you, obviously, as well. So let's get to our last guest. And we'll say the best for last, obviously. And let's talk to senior women's soccer player Jade Woll. Jade, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here. And let's talk about the game last night. Let's go to a 1-0 victory over Virginia Wesleyan that took a while to let it happen, but a goal's a goal, win's a win, right? That's the main thing. Take me through the game from a player's mindset as you're on the field. Tell me about the anxiety maybe you guys started to feel in the second half because of the struggles you've had recently in the last 2 games against Shenandoah and CNU.
Well, I mean, at least for both, we somehow still got goals. But I think yesterday during the half, it was just, sometimes we do this, we start to play like other teams, and so they were playing kickball, and that's not our game. And so what we're really good at is possession and just holding the ball. But when somebody starts kicking the ball long, it's hard to get out of that because you just kind of fall into that mindset of just get it out big. So I think we started to realize how we're going to win was connecting like 1-2 passes with the middle and outside mids. And so I think we started to realize that towards the second half. First half, it was just really hectic, and we were trying to figure out how to handle being pressured so highly. And then second half, we just kind of figured it out. We just realized we have to start sending it wide and start just finding our forwards better and give them better opportunities. And I think we started to really figure that out towards the end.
At halftime, was it more talk from you guys amongst each other, or did Coach Olson say a lot of stuff as well?
Well, for every halftime, the coaches go to the side and they talk for about like 5 minutes, and then we have generally upperclassmen or people on the sideline that see things that we really need to start fixing. And so we generally have that for every game. So unless we're really killing it, we just say we're doing great, just keep it up. Yesterday we just had the same talk, like we just have to settle it. We figured out like the little things we needed to change, and then coach just came in and was like, this is a really bad half of soccer. We need to figure it out. Like, you guys need to step it up. Like,
just being blunt.
Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, you need that sometimes. You need to just have it straight to your face. Like, okay, you're playing bad. You need to change it. So I think that helps us.
Let's talk about the goal. Let's talk about how that worked out. And you just mentioned right there, you guys knew there should be an emphasis on going from the mids to the outside. Perfect pass from Foster to you led you on, and then inside to Olds for the header. What was going through your mind as you had a couple runs in the first half, but couldn't quite get to the ball? That one was right there for you.
Well, I think one thing that's really good about Franny is she's a super attacking midfielder. So she kind of attacked my defender, which allowed me to open up, and then their backs weren't as fast as both our outside mids, which helps us a lot when it comes to serving a better ball, because when you have high pressure, it's harder to get a more accurate pass. And so I honestly was just trying to get it into the middle of the box. Just like find somebody, because it's really hard. I'm just like, get it off as fast as I can. But yesterday, I think having Franny there, she really finds gaps really, really well. And so I knew that was a potential thing to happen. And so I think that was my mindset, was just get open for Franny and then somehow find a forward.
Yeah, well, I think I speak for a lot of people both on the field and off the field. We were very relieved that went in the back of the net, and no overtime or anything like that.
I know, it was too much.
We were done, yeah, which is great. Let's talk about the season overall. As a senior, you're used to, obviously, a bunch of success, and you guys are still successful, don't get me wrong. I think we, as outsiders, put a lot of pressure on you guys because of what happened last year, and that's not happening, so therefore we're asking all these questions. What's it like in the locker room with you guys right now?
I mean, you can never compare yourself to the previous team, because you're never going to be that team ever again. That was a team that happened, and then people leave, and you have to figure out how to change that. And I think you have a lot of pressure because we were national champions, and so everybody wants you to do that again, or is wondering, like, why aren't you as successful? But last year we had a special group of people, but this year we have just as special of a group of people. It's just figuring out when we're going to shine. And so, I mean, I think we're doing really well. We've had 2 losses, which we're not used to, and we're having difficulty scoring. But, I mean, overall, I have a lot of confidence that we're going to come out in ODACs and kill it, and then just really prove people wrong when we go into NCAAs.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That would be really, really awesome. All right, let's move on to some other things that you were involved in as a senior. You haven't just been sitting here playing soccer and then going home and doing nothing. You're really involved. This past summer, you got to do a really cool internship in Costa Rica. Tell me about that.
So for our school for liberal arts, you have to do gen eds, and so obviously some people don't like that, but it was in Spanish, and we have to do cultural events. And so with that event, I went and got to see this woman, Veronica, speaking about the waters in Costa Rica and like all the issues that they're having with their government and the water quality problems and things like that. And I saw Dr. Shahidi, who's one of our professors here. He was in charge of that and helping her, and that's where he met Veronica. And so I went up to him and asked if I was like any opportunities for that. And so I was lucky enough to find one, and somehow I got to find all these scholarship opportunities to let me be paid for to get to Costa Rica without any payment, and I got my flight, like everything paid for, which was really lucky.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so it made it a lot stress-free. But I don't know, it was just a cool experience because I got to do research. I got to help find myself, like, what I was interested, what I wasn't interested. It helped me like do field work on my own. It really helped me grow as a student, and helped me direct myself into my future, what I want to do for my career.
And you mentioned to me earlier this week you want to be in the marine conservation or science field.
Yeah.
So obviously that was a big help. But you also told me one of your hobbies is photography, and you were able to actually take pictures. And you think that your experience in Costa Rica with the photography as well will help you if you get a job, when you get a job in the marine conservation and science?
Yeah. Well, I think so, because for conservation, I eventually I want to use my graphic side and combine it with my science side. So use my talents with photography and help that advertise to communities and society that like what we have as an environment, how it's changing. Because when people see things, it's more eye-opening, and they're more able to relate to what you're showing them. So I think that's kind of what I want to use photography for.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck. I think it's a great plan for
Thanks.
you, for sure. Obviously, the main thing for you is get that job first.
Yeah.
And then we'll worry about the other
Yeah,
things
that's the
later.
goal,
Okay.
is get a job.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
All right,
really
thank you.
appreciate it. And good luck on Friday.
Thanks.
Against Emory and Henry.
Mhm.
I'll get it right, E&H. And that's going to do it for our show. We're going to be back next week, of course, same time. We'll be in a different place. I think it's supposed to be colder next week, so we might be inside Drysdale at the Westover room, but it'll still be on our YouTube channel at 6 o'clock and shared throughout our social media platforms. Remember, tonight we've got a field hockey game here at Schellenberger Field, and then our next broadcast will be, after that, will be Saturday, 1 o'clock, field hockey against Randolph-Macon. Thanks again, everybody. Remember, it's a great day to be a Hornet. We'll see you next week.